I'm Marcel Koert, founder of Melamar IT and someone who spent 25 years deep in the trenches of IT, in DevOps, in site reliability engineering and platform building. I work with organizations like the ING to create systems that not just work, but work reliably at scale through smart automation, strong observability, and relentless focus on reducing operational pain. But beyond the code and the pipelines, I'm a teacher at heart. So I like talks, I like teaching guys, I like writing blogs, videos, and that kind of. So check that out later on. We're going to talk about something today, and be aware, this is the first time I'm doing this presentation, so I will be speaking a lot on my computer. I'm sorry, but it's really the first time. We're going to talk about, if this works, what can break your system. It's not just hardware, software, and that kind of stuff. There are other things in there. So not just your systems aren't unreliable, not just because Kubernetes is confusing, though a fair point. Some of it is a choose your own adventure book written by sadists. Yeah? And definitely not because your developers are chaos gremlins that like to deploy on Friday afternoon. Yeah? It's not all of them that are doing this. No, your systems are unreliable because your brain is unreliable. Yeah? That's right. The most dangerous piece of software is wetware, your brain. It's not YAML, it's not pipeline, and it's not Jenkins. It's your squishy, shortcut-loving brain. Now relax, this is not going to be a blame game. Yeah? It's not going to be an HR compliance video. It's no pie charts, nothing like that. Instead, it's going to be a relatable, funny, but sometimes painful tour of the real root causes of some of your instances. Some, the research says half of your instances. And what is it? Cognitive bias. We're talking about those subconscious mental shortcuts that your brain uses to help you by skipping logic, ignoring evidence, and plunging confidently in the wrong direction. Sounds familiar? It should. Biases sneak in our retros, our dashboards, our incidents, and our war rooms and our daily standards. They're everywhere. Yeah? We're going to talk about 6 of them. We're going to talk about confirmation bias, anchoring bias, availability bias, optimist bias, groupthink, doesn't have bias in the name, but it's still a bias, and overconfidence bias. We'll explore each one and how it impacts the DevOps culture, how it impacts IT, yeah? And how it quietly sabotages the reliability of your environment, of your system. We'll try to show you some painful examples. They're funny, but recognizable. Yeah? And it's like the time somebody rebooted the wrong server because they assumed it was a certain name. Assumption, always wrong. And when nobody spoke up in a meeting, but the deployment plan that was written down wasn't working or was very dangerous. We'll explore each one of them. Now, let's start with confirmation bias. You all heard this. It's always DNA. Bingo. Let's talk about that most charming bug in the human brain. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is your tendency to search, interpret, and remember information that supports what you're already thinking. Yeah? So it's dangerous because you're ignoring other things that are conflicting with what you're thinking. Like a baby, like a toddler ignoring broccoli. Yeah? Because they don't like it. In the world of IT, it sounds like this. It's a memory leak. Always a memory leak. Yeah? I have no doubt that people ordered this already a few times. That team always messes up their deployment. Ask them first. Now the big one. It can't be us. It can't be our server. We didn't change anything. In the beginning, somebody already laughed about these, but these are real problems because you are not looking at the data anymore. You're interpreting things from your brain. Good news, it's beatable. How? By treating your thinking like your code and test it. Run this confirmation drill. what would prove you wrong in your assumption? Yeah? Don't just go blind ahead. If you have an incident, there you go. They warned us for that, by the way. If you are in an incident and something pops in your mind that reminds you of something, test it, check it. Assign a devil's advocate. Assign a person in war rooms or in reviews or in that has the only job to question the dominant theory. Yeah? No matter how popular it is. Normalize, I don't know. Sounds strange maybe, but it's very profound. If you can say I don't know in a group, yeah, you can get questions out that normally would be hidden. So next time somebody says it's probably DNS, smile and say, sure, but what would prove that wrong? Yeah? Next one, anchoring bias. It only takes 2 hours, uttered with full confidence and zero evidence. I have no doubt that people here have estimated work and said, oh, 5 minutes, and 2 hours later, they're still working. Completely normal in our brain, but it's wrong. Anchoring bias is the brain's way of saying, first impression. I'm locked in, I don't have to think any further, because that first impression is correct. But if you don't think any further, how do you know that first impression is correct? It could be the first log line that pops up in an incident. From, okay, that's an error message. That must be it. Let's go with that. Of the first Slack message in a war room that states, definitely, this is it. The first brave soul who mutters, it will only take 2 hours. With an unearned confidence of a YouTube live code. From that moment on, you're no longer analyzing, anchoring. And the ship has set sail, and logic clinging to the hull, waving for help. How would you fight this? Without throwing anybody overboard of the ship. Let's keep the analogy going. Good news, you can fight this. But it takes an effort, a conscious effort, and sometimes a little bit humility. Pause before pouncing. In an incident, resist the urge to go with the first theory. Look for data. Check things out. Ask for alternatives during a call. What else could have been causing this? Not the first thing, the second thing, the third thing. Blind estimation. If you do a planning, don't do your estimation in the room with the people. Do it blind. Because if there's a senior person in the room with that planning, and he will give a number, yeah, in your DevOps, in your Agile planning, a lot of the junior or medium people will hang on to that number. So do it blind. Next time someone says, it's just a quick fix, take a breath and ask, cool, but based on what evidence? Because in DevOps, we shouldn't anchor. We should only anchor our container. Availability bias. This is a biggie. Because I already had a few discussions today about this. If it hurt last time, it must be the problem now. This bias tricks your brain into thinking whatever the easiest for you to remember must be the problem now. Not the data, no. What you have done last month. Last month there was an issue with DNS. So now it must be DNS as well. And even if you think you can outsmart your brain with that, 9 out of 10 times you can. You will still do this. So how can you avoid it? Now let's start with why this is important. Engineers don't remember everything. Engineers remember what hurt, what paged you in the middle of the night, the incident that you spent 2-3 hours on middle of the night. Yeah? What hurt you, you remember. But that doesn't mean it's correct. It does mean in the next incident, it comes to your mind front and center because we remember what hurt. Now, how do we fight it? As I said, I need to scroll once in a while. Use data, not vibes. I think it's a logical thing. Use data and not memory and vibes and how you feel. But apparently it isn't that clear in the middle of the night when you have an incident. Bring historical data. Show the data and correlate the data so that you know what happened last time, really happened last time, and not what you remember. ask the scary question. What risks are we ignoring because because they haven't bitten us yet? Yeah? That's a difficult one, but it's very important. Visualize the landscape. Use incident heat maps, risk system matrices, and see where the pain used to be. Yeah? It could be still that you have a problem there, but if you can see that it only happened once last month, and before that it didn't happen in the last 12 months, then probably it isn't. Ask your team, what are we reacting to? Reality or trauma? Optimist bias. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. This is the warm, fuzzy bug that convinces us everything is going to be fine. Even when we have no rollback plan, no test coverage, and our senior engineer is in Italy on vacation. Yeah? And everything is fine. It's a dangerous cocktail of confidence, speed, and wishful thinking. Powers Friday evening deploy. Why? Weekend is quiet, so we can do it. Oh, we'll clean that code up later. Yeah, sure. Temporary features that live longer than your cat. Yeah? Heroic plans with no backup plan. And every post-it note that says MVP, but stays in production for 3 years. We all heard it, we all seen it. Now, why is this so important that we debug our brain on this one? DevOps, IT, thrives on realism, not on reckless confidence. We build for resilience, not perfection. But Optimist Bias tells us that we don't need to prepare, that we don't need a test plan, that we don't need to think about failure. The problem is that reasoning starts a lot of postmortems with, oh, we didn't think that would happen. We assumed this couldn't fail. We thought one pot would be enough. Okay, it never is. So let's try to fix this without becoming a doomsday prepper, because you don't have to be that prepared, but you need to be prepared. Run pre-mortem. Before a release, ask, what could fail horribly? Yeah? And make a plan for that. Could be a horror movie trailer of your deploy. Uncomfortable, but essential. Budget for Murphy's Law. It's a difficult one, but try to budget for Murphy's Law. Expect the unexpected. But yeah, your brain doesn't know what you don't know. So that's a difficult one. But try to do that. Because if you don't have a plan, it's a gamble. So plan. Make what could go wrong a required field in changes, incidents, in war rooms, in everything that you do. What could go wrong? And enforce people writing things down. Because if they don't, you know what the risk is already. The people. Because they don't know the risk. So next time somebody says, oh, it will be fine. Yeah? Ask them, could you show me the part of the plan where we survive if it isn't fine? That's how we build reliable system. Not just a reliable system, also a reliable team. Groupthink, the one without bias in it. That's a bias. The bias that silently nods systems into chaos. Also known as neutral assured agreement. Groupthink happens when nobody wants to rock the boat. So you just smile and go along and nod with a terrible idea. Even when the idea clearly will detonate in production and you will have to order emergency pizza. It's the silent killer of good ideas and the launchpad of so many worse technical decisions that you ever had to retro. How do you break free from the nod squad? Good news. It's always beatable, but only if you build a culture where you can value dissent as a feature, not as a bug. Make disagreement a sign of engagement. Treat pushback like a code review. A code review gives you a review of what you've written. Do that also as planned, but give them permission to really be annoying. Yeah? Think hard about it. In high-stake meetings, try to appoint a designated dissenter. Somebody that has to say, no, I don't think that. I think that. What I said before, anonymize your input. If you have a team that is voting for something, or even ideas that you want to discuss, start with ask them before a meeting, think about it, send it in. We'll anonymize it and we'll discuss it. Write down disagreements, even the ones that we overrule. Yeah? Because if you write them down and something goes wrong, you can say, we didn't miss it. We flagged it and we chose to proceed because we thought something. We thought it wouldn't happen for a reason. So next time somebody is eerily nodding in agreement, ask yourself, are we aligned or are we just afraid to disagree? 2 more slides and I got 5 minutes. So I'll make it. Overconfidence bias. What could go wrong? Again, same thing as a few times already. Everything. Yeah, it's a charming little brain glitch that convinces us you know more than you actually do, and that we're better than we truly are. It whispers, no need to test, we've done this 1,000,000 times. Yeah, sure. And don't worry, it's not always arrogant. Most of the time, it's ignorance of the unknown. You don't know what you don't know. The catch is, your brain is strangely okay with that. Yeah? Why does this rack that one single and simple answer to that? DevOps is complex. We have all kinds of things going on. Infrastructure, code, pipelines, alerts. So it's complex. No human will ever be able to understand everything in IT. Don't try, it doesn't work. If somebody, senior engineers, and mostly senior engineers do this, want to skip tests and no one dares to challenge them because of the groupthink, binding to. Assumptions go untested, rollbacks unprepared, and the words it will be fine get uttered just before it isn't. How to fight this? Enforce peer review for everybody, not just for the junior developers or the junior DevOps or SRE. Thing is peer review. Look what you don't know. Yeah? In postmortems, in pre-mortems, in everything. Log what you don't know. Include what was misunderstood, missed, assumed, and make humility part of the process. Teach the Dunning-Kruger effect. Probably never heard of it, but it's a nice graph that shows how people overestimate their knowledge from junior to senior. Yeah? Make it part of the onboarding. Make it part of your life. Tattoo it on a wall. Show it. Also recognize where the team is, or you are, in that graph. Make staging sacred. Test, test. All your assumptions. So next time somebody says, don't worry, I got this. Ask, awesome, let's do it safe. Yeah? Real confidence isn't skipping your guardrail. It's building them and use. Last slide. Final thoughts. I don't want to make you upset, but everybody has cognitive bias. It's human. Yeah? It's not something, a personality trait, it's what we have. So don't worry, you're not a bad engineer, you're not a reckless decision making, you're just human. It's not a personal flaw, it's a feature of your brain. But there's the problem. Modern IT systems don't care. They don't care about those shortcuts that your brain takes. Hey, it turns red. Sorry. They don't care about how tired you are, how confident you feel, or whether you fix something before with guessing. They care about truth, accuracy, observability, and system thinking. I have to skip a few things, otherwise I won't make it. This was the long sheet. Big thing. If you see a bias, name it. If you name it, you know it. You can do something about it. Recognize it. Challenge assumptions. Ask questions. Work with data, not with assumption. Yeah? Not with memory. Data is the thing. And then the last thing I wanted to say is thank you for listening, learning, and check your biases. But there's one thing that is very important, what I started with. It's not always DNS, but sometimes it is. So be aware of that.